Good morning, children. Welcome to Guru Institute. Today we are going to see our next chapter, that is structure of atom. In the earlier classes, I think you are learning about the little bit basics of the structure of atom, right? So once I repeat you. Suppose any object is there, then we can call it as a what? Matter. If you divide that object, if you divide, then we can call it as a small particle. We call it as a molecule. What we call molecule. If you again divide this molecule, then we can call it as a atom. Any object or any material, anything we are called as a matter, right? If you divide into pieces, that is into parts, then each part we call as a molecule. Again, if you divide the molecule, then it is called as a atom. An atom we can't divide it. We can't divide it into any more, right? So, but inside the atom, we have the three subatomic particles are there. That is electron, proton, and neutron, right? So, the starting one, whenever we have to getting idea of the atomic structure, so we have to first discuss about the J.J. Thomson model. The J.J. Thomson given a plum pudding model, that is a watermelon model. In the watermelon, some red matter is there, and in that black seeds are there. So, like that only, randomly, like the seeds, randomly, electrons are placing in an atom. Yes, given that what is that? In an atom, randomly, some of the particles are presented, subatomic particles are there. That is known as, he has given the name as electron. So, J. Thomson invented the electron. So, he doesn't know about the proton and neutron. And after that latter, Rutherford done a experiment, all for a scattering experiment. In his experiment, he has taken one of the round tray, and in the middle he has taken a silver, and he has entered the alpha rays. And he observed the maximum rays of the which matter he has taken in that one. Above that one and below that one, they are passing directly, but at the center of the object, so they are a little bit deviated. Some of the return back. Then he observed that in the middle something is presented, and he doesn't know what is that one. Something is presented, he given that one, and he has given name in that for that is nucleus. So nucleus is discovered by Rutherford. And later experiments done by the different scientists, but finally the two scientists succeeded. They are James Chadwick and Goldstein. James Chadwick and Goldstein. So among these two persons, so at the nucleus, they are finding about the nucleus. So he has given that one person given that. Who's there? We are taking first one Thomson over. So next Goldstein and James Chadwick. James Chadwick. Okay, right? So this is about the Thomson. He has discovered the electron. So then Rutherford is there. Rutherford identified the nucleus. So and the nucleus. So after their experiment, Goldstein finds that one thing is presented. It is which one? It is positively reacted. It is positively reacted. So then he has given the name it is proton. He has given the name is proton. So then finally they are controlled like the only proton. The nucleus is there. The nucleus is called proton. He has given that. The charge is positive. He has given that. Okay. So then after lot of years, so Chadwick came and he has done experiments and find that along with this proton particles, some of the other particles are there. They are not responding to anything. So they are neutrally charged, and he has given name is neutron. So this is about the electron, proton, neutron. That means they are present in the atom. Right? Atom has the subatomic particles. So Thomson given. Then Rutherford given nucleus. In the nucleus, they have done the experiment and find that some of the positive charged particles are there. They given name it is the proton by Goldstein. Then after that, so then James Chadwick also done the experiment. He find that along with the protons, some are not responding to anything. So he is given as a neutron. That means they are electrically neutral one. So electron charge we are taken as a -1, and proton charge we are taken as a +1. And neutron charge we are taken as a 0, right? and its charge is almost 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Protons or electron charge is 1.602 into this charge is 0 is how much? 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. So for electrons if you take, you can take minus. For protons if you take, it is a plus. That's it. This is the basic of the atomic structure. So then after this, what they are given? Bose-Einstein, J.J. Thomson and Chadwick and Gaussian, all these are over. So next came the next model is Bohr's model. So the Niels Bohr scientist came, he has done experiments and he assembled all these things and given the proper conclusion for this one. Atom is in the spherical shape and at the center nucleus is there. Nucleus means protons and neutrons, and electrons are having the almost no weight. Protons having the weight 1 AMU atomic mass in it, and neutrons also having the equal mass of the proton, that is 1 AMU. But electrons are lightly weight, almost we have to take it as 0, and they are lightweight. They are revolve around the nucleus in the outermost parts. Okay, in the fixed path, the electrons are revolving. He has given the model. According to Bohr, he has given a model. What is the atom is a spherical shape. In the center, nucleus is there. Nucleus is the protons and neutrons, and electrons revolving around the nucleus in the fixed path, like planets. All our planets revolving around the sun. So that's why it is called as a planetary model. Bohr's planetary model. So this in this path, the energy is fixed. So that's why he has given as the name is stationary orbit. Stationary orbit. So the first orbit has the less energy than compared to the last orbit. He has given the name. This is the first orbit. Second one, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, n is equal to 4. So and he has given the names K, L, M, N. This orbit has given the name K, L, M, N. Among the 4 orbits, K has the less energy. As you move from K to L, L to M, M to N, the energy is gradually increasing. So these are the fixed ones. So these are the stationary orbits. Sometimes electrons is jumping from lower energy to higher energy. Then it absorbs the energy and it will be revolving on that respected orbit. In sometimes electron is jump from higher energy to lower energy. Then it loses the energy and that means it emits the energy to outside. But whenever they are coming from higher to lower or lower to higher, they can't be stable in that orbit for a long time. Then they are regaining to their same orbit by losing or gaining the energy. So this is the model given by the Bohr. So its total model is explained by the Bohr for a successfully explained by the Bohr for hydrogen atom. But Bohr's model could not explain the hydrogen spectrum clearly. It can explain the only spectrum of the hydrogen line spectrum only as clearly explained that we have seen later. So then we have to see about the spectrum. What do you mean by spectrum? Okay, right? Just take one example. Suppose one pond is there. That means one lake is there. A still water is there. One pond, a still water is there. Take one stone and keep it on that. Then what will happen? It will disturb the total lake, and some of the round circles will form. That is, ripples will form, right? So then it disturbs the total waves. It will form like a waves. Suppose same to same in the same manner. If you take a electricity, then what will happen? What do you mean by electricity actually? If you take a wire, if you take one conducting wire, then the current is moving from like this. So it means what happened? The current is not moving, the charge is moving. Which is moving? Electron charge is moving. So that means flow of electrons is known as electricity. In that which is moving? Electric charge is moving. If suppose electric charge is disturbed, then automatically this electric wave also disturbed. That means whenever electricity is flowing, the flow of electrons is known as electricity. Whenever it is flowing in the form of waves. It is flowing in the form of waves. Then at this one, it is flowing in the form of waves. Whenever electric charge wave is there, whenever electricity is there, then automatically there is a production of magnetic field. when an electric field is there, when electric field is suppose like this, then for this field perpendicularly magnetic field is generated like this. The magnetic field is generated. Suppose it is left to right, the magnetic field is front and back, front and back, front and back. Suppose electric field is front and back like this, so to and fro motion. Then electric field is from to and fro motion, that means front and back. Then magnetic field is in a horizontal direction. So that's why that is both are perpendicular to each other. Suppose electric charge is disturbed, then electric wave also disturbed. Then electric wave also disturbed. Obviously, magnetic wave also disturbed. So if you see this one, this is the electric wave, for example. Then this should be the magnetic wave. In the picture we can't see that clearly, why? Because it is a 3D picture. So that's why I show you horizontal one is the electric wave, then the vertical one is known as the magnetic wave. So this is about the electromagnetic wave, the combination of electric wave and magnetic wave. Suppose if you see the picture, which colors are there? Totally 7 colors. It is also one of the electromagnetic wave. So it is a visible light. You can see the visible light. Its speed in vacuum, this light speed in vacuum is, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. The speed is, the visible light speed is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. That is in vacuum, that is white light. Okay. So in that also, already we know that in the human eye chapter we discussed about that one, scattering of light and dispersion of light, right? Whenever the scattering is done, what happens? It absorbs some energy and it takes that energy and it re-emits into all the direction. Then you can see this beautiful work, right? So while it has a less wavelength and it has a more wavelength, then automatically less wavelength means it has a high frequency and it has a more wavelength means it has a less frequency. These are the different wavelengths and different frequencies. They all emits the energy. So electromagnetic wave also like the electromagnetic wave also there is a wide variety of frequencies. Entire range of these frequencies they are emitted in one of the process. So those are called electromagnetic spectrum. All the entire range of the electromagnetic radiations. So that is emits the light. So that is called an electromagnetic spectrum. So simply spectrum means whenever energy is emitted, that means the light energy is emitted in the form of different frequencies. So then that is called as a electromagnetic spectrum. Then automatically what is the scientist also operates before going to this one. After that we have to see. So then what is the characteristic of this wave? We have to see. Then we have to see about the wavelength. Any wave, it has the wavelength and it has the frequency also. Wavelength means the distance between starting point and ending point of the wave for one cycle. That means see here, I am talking about the electric wave. So this is the first point. So this is the second point. So then this distance is called the wavelength. That is indicated by lambda. Starting point of the wave and ending point of the wave. Actually, that is the ending point of the wave. For one cycle, the length of one cycle in a wave is known as, what is that? Wavelength lambda, or the distance between first peak of the wave to the next peak of wave. It is also a lambda. The distance between first peak of the wave to the next peak of the wave, it is also known as the lambda. So if you observe this one, I am showing one complete cycle. I draw clearly, see here. Suppose wave is like this. Then the distance between the first point and this point is known as lambda. Or the distance between this point and this point is known as lambda, wavelength. The distance between first peak of the wave to the next peak of the wave, or the distance of the length of the one complete cycle in a wave is known as lambda. Now if you take the positive cycle, this is a negative cycle, this is a complete cycle, half cycle, half cycle. Suppose if you observe this one, this is a 1/4 cycle, this is also 1/4, 1/4 plus 1/4 half plus half 1. So next coming to the frequency. Frequency is nothing but number of vibrations that will be occurred in 1 second time. Number of vibrations that will be occurred in the 1 second time is known as frequency of the wave. In 1 second time, how many peak points that is moved in a wave, that is also known as a frequency. So simply number of vibrations. So these properties are applied for sound waves also. I am telling you the light electromagnetic wave. It is applied as the light waves, any wave, this property should be applied. So frequency is indicated by a symbol nu. Frequency is indicated by a symbol nu. So then it is a wavelength lambda. Wavelength length means it is indicated by the units are meters. And frequency, it is a reciprocal of the frequency is equals to reciprocal of the time period of the total time taken by a wave to reach the one point to another point. The time units are second, so that's why its units are second, 1 by second or per second we have to use. Or otherwise we can use the another unit, that is hertz. That is the hertz. Okay, right. This is about the frequency. Now we have to see about the relation between these two. The length between first and last point of a complete wave are the two peaks. And the vibration means what? Sorry, the frequency means what? Number of vibrations in 1 unit time or number of completed cycles in 1 unit time. Now see the one more graph here. So two waves. Then you can observe the relationship between the wavelength and frequency. So right, suppose, so this is the one wave and this is the another wave. Right? Then according to this one, what is the lambda here? So from here to here, this is the lambda. Right? So then, what is the lambda here? This is the lambda. So here the wavelength is less, here the wavelength is more. Then coming to the frequency, the number of vibrations or number of peaks in 1 second. Suppose this lambda is covered in 1 second time. For example, this distance, this wave is covered in 1 second time. Then take the same time here also. This is the 1 second time. Up to here 1 second. So in the first wave, in 1 second time, how many waves are completed? 1 wave is completed. The frequency is 1. In the second one, how many are there? 1, 2, and 2.5 waves are there. Okay. So that means you can take approximately, that is, okay, right? Let me take here up to here. So totally 3 waves. First wave, second wave, third wave. So totally 3 waves are there. So in the first one, lambda is more, waves are 1, that means frequency is 1. In the second one, lambda is less and frequency is more. Then simply the length of the frequency is more, that means the length of wavelength is more. Length is more, it can travel more distance, but its number of vibrations are less, that means frequency is less. If the length of the wave is small, then it can travel less distance, but it can make the number of vibrations are more. So from this one, what we can conclude that lambda and frequency both are what happened? Indirect proportion to each other. So simply see here the relationship between these two. Lambda is inversely proportional to the nu. If you multiply this nu here, nu lambda is equals to proportional to 1. If you remove the proportionality, then we can keep it as a C constant. So from this one we can come to the V is equal nu lambda. Sorry, C is equal nu lambda. This is the relationship between the frequency and wavelength of the any wave. So now, electromagnetic wave means not only visual, it is having a wide range of the waves. So if you take the electromagnetic wave, the starting level, it contains cosmic rays. Then after this it contains gamma rays. After this it contains X-rays. After this it will contain UV rays. Then IR rays. Then it contains the radio waves. Sorry, radar waves. And after this it contains the radio waves. And finally it contains the broadcasting waves. So broadcasting waves we are using for the distribution of the telecommunication systems or any communication systems. Right. So this is about the total electromagnetic spectrum, that means total electromagnetic visibility. So distribution. So cosmic rays are there. Starting the cosmic rays are there, its wavelength is less. That means it has a lower wavelength. Then here wavelength is increasing. So gradually increasing. Finally broadcast waves are the higher wavelength. So lower wavelength to higher wavelength is moving. Then all these are not seen by our naked eye. That means our direct eye is not sensitive to see this all these one. Our eye is sensitive to see the only violet to red color. That means white color only we can able to see that one. Our eye is sensitive. Already seen in the scattering of light concepts and dispersion of concept. So the white light is divided into 7 colors. That is dispersion. We have seen that one. then where it is presented? So observe this one. If you observe this one, what happened? Here UV rays is there, IR rays is there. In between these two, our total picture is presented. Actually, UV means ultraviolet, IR means infrared. But for our remember process, you have to remember like this: UV, the second letter is what? V. IR, the second letter is what? R. So you can remember like this. In between, picture is formed. This light only visible to us. So that's why this is the visible light. The spectrum done by this picture is we call as the visible spectrum. So spectrum is nothing but the total entire range of wavelengths in a one manner. So we can take as a spectrum. This is total is from cosmic rays to this broadcast. We have taken the electromagnetic spectrum. In this one, we have to visible only picture only. So that's why this is our visible spectrum. So then scientists almost observe that already in the scattering also we know that the different atoms or different molecules or elements or compounds, they are present in the atmosphere. They are related to the some of the fixed wavelength, and they are observed some fixed color, and that only they will be emit. They are observed that one, and after that one they are vibrated and they are re-emits into the all the direction. So then only we can see this beautiful world, right? So that means every atom or every element has its own intensity, has its own wavelength, has its own frequency. They are regarding to they are observing the fixed color. That fixed color only they will be emit like a lines. They will emit like a line. Then that is called as a line spectrum. Line spectrum. So they are emit like a lines like this, different colors. So this is different atoms. They are emits like a line. So this is called a line spectrum. Suppose any substance or any compound or any atom, if they are emit like a not like a lines, so this is called line spectrum. Not like this one. Suppose if they are making like a bonds. So like this they are emits. So then this is called as bond spectrum. Suppose if there is emitted like a bond, then this is called as bond spectra. If they are emitted like a line, that is line spectrum. Maximum atoms are emitted like a line one only. The group of atoms or substances they emit like a band, then this is called band spectrum. That is electromagnetic spectrum, line spectrum and band spectrum. So now coming to the what is our Bohr's model. Bohr's model gives that one hydrogen spectrum. So hydrogen atom it emits a line spectrum. Why it is emits when already as given when higher energy level to lower energy level the electrons is jumped, then it emits the energy, and but it is not stable in the position, it again go back to the same position. Due to the disturbances, it emits the energy in the form of lines. So it explains successfully the line spectra of hydrogen. But later after him, if you observe the hydrogen spectrum by the developed spectroscope, we can see as a finite group of lines. In the Bohr observed the only line spectra, but after that if you observe by using the finite spectroscope, then or the modern spectroscope, then we observe as a group of finite lines. We observe only lines. Here we are getting group of fine lines. So this group of fine lines are not explained by the Bohr's model. Right? He has explained only hydrogen line spectrum only. So then, suppose for example, if you take as a some iron rod, if you take iron rod and keep it in a flame, then what will happen? Which colors we have to see? In the starting, we have to see the red color. So if you increase the heat energy, then you have to see the orange color. Then again you have to increase the heat, then you can see the yellow color. Then after that again if you are increasing, you have to see the green color. Then again if you are increasing, you have to see the blue color. Then as usual, then if you increase the speed, indigo. Then finally you can see the violet. If you increase the energy, that means heat energy again and again, you can see the final one, white color. In the starting is a little bit energy has given, the rod, that object body is giving shows the red color, the iron body. And if you increase the heat energy gradually, it shows orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and finally all these are mixing already. You know that if you mix all these colors, it will show which color? White color. So this is about the emission. Why it is done this means so that body absorbs the heat energy and it emitted these colors. These color, then you are getting this emission. So whenever red is there, remaining colors are not there. But whenever orange is there, red is also presented, but its intensity is more. Then you can see the orange only. Whenever yellow is there, then along with the yellow, orange and red also there. Like this. Whenever violet, suppose blue is there, these remaining colors also emits, but we can't see this one because the intensity is less at that time. So whenever you see the white means, in the white all the colors are there, but you can see the only white color. So this means whenever the emission is done by any object and any particle, so after getting the heat energy, so in a finite colors it will be getting out in the form of energy is gained or lost. That means is observed or lost. So you are getting these lines. So this is not in a continuous manner. This is a breakdown manner. That is a discrete manner you will get red, orange, after that yellow, after that green. Like that, what is that? Discrete energy levels will be formed. Discrete emission will be formed. So this is described by the great scientist Max Planck. Max Planck. It shows that whenever any object absorbs the energy or loses the energy or emits the energy, it is in the form of multiples of h nu. That is h nu. And if it is increased more, then it becomes 2h nu. If it again increases more, this is 3h nu, and again increases more, 4h nu. That means the emitted energy is always in the form of multiples of h nu, 2h nu. At the starting it will be h nu. Then after that 2h nu, then 3h nu and 4h nu like that. Here E is nothing but energy of the emitted light. So then h nu E is equal to h nu. Already we know that nu is nothing but frequency. Then what is h? H means on his name only to honor him we are taking it as a Planck's constant. H is nothing but Max Planck's constant or Planck's constant. Its value is h is equal to 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule into second. This is the h value. So what you can conclude that means he proposed a theory that whenever emission is done, it is done in the discrete energy levels, not in a continuous manner. You can give in this beautiful picture. So this is about the spectrum. So whenever spectrum is done, so it is able to understand the atomic structure very clearly. So then this is our today's topic. So then we have to see about the next topic. So Bohr is given the conclusion for atomic structure. According to him, what is the atom is a spherical shape. Then is the nucleus. Center is the nucleus there. Protons and neutrons are present. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus in the fixed orbits. So they are called stationary orbits. They are given K, L, M, N. So this is not a final model. For this one, Sommerfeld done a little bit changes. Why? Because this Bohr's model cannot explain the group of finite lines. That means hydrogen spectrum not completely. Only section line spectrum, not the group of finite line spectrum. So that's why he done the little bit changes Sommerfeld, and it will the final model of the atomic structure which gives the exact values and orientation and presentation of how the atom is located, that is the subatomic particles are located in the atom. That is given by the model Bohr's Sommerfeld model, and remaining topics we will see in the next video. Thank you for watching. So I hope you have understood. So please subscribe our channel. If you have any doubts, please post on the comment box. Thank you.